Welcome back to Adrienne's Avenue, and I'm so excited and glad that you're here today. If you're new, thanks for coming in. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. And today I'm going to talk about something that's going to entirely change your whole life. You know, we're on our path to the finances. I'm walking you through the steps slowly to your finances, financial freedom, financial independence, whatever it is that you may want. But this one thing will entirely change your life. And it is that wealth is your responsibility. It's no one else. It's not the schools. It's not the churches. It's not your families. It is your responsibility. Let's jump right in and talk about this topic. The one thing that I hear consistently, whether it's on podcasts, webinars, or just talking to people in general conversations, even on TV, is that they're not being taught finances in school. They're not being taught how to handle their money. They're not being taught about emergency funds. No, they're not teaching them in schools about these wealth building activities and how to handle money. What they're teaching them in school, even though it's been years since I've been to school, they're teaching them how to read, how to write, and how to multiply. Reading, writing, and arithmetic, subtraction, multiplication, addition, that type of thing. So the very basics. And it's nothing personal against your child or any other child. This is the system. This is the school system. They teach and train the kids how to go out and either once they graduate, they go to trade school, they go out and get a job, or they go to college. And that's kind of how it happens. If they're fortunate and they have a parent that has a business, they may go into the business. They may go to college and then come out and go into the business. But there's very few schools out there, especially high schools, teaching the children the things that they need to know in order to survive financially, and not teaching them about being an entrepreneur when they get out into the world. Now, there are some programs now that's being introduced into the high schools that they can go in and they can learn about finances. They can learn about high interest savings accounts. They can learn about credit cards, how to use a credit card, various things like that. So it's creeping into the schools a little bit more, but it's nothing personal. However, there are some students in the schools that are learning how to handle the money before they get out, and they're acquiring this knowledge. And I would challenge you to, talk to your child and see what is out there for them to help them. Because when they get to college, what they're going to learn there is there's going to be people on the campus with credit card applications. Fill this out. We can give you a credit card with $2,000 on it, $3,000 on it, and they'll learn how to run up a credit card and potentially get into financial trouble with debt. So if they don't know some of these things about an emergency fund, about savings accounts, about checkings accounts, about how to build wealth, these are some things that they need to know. And this is really basic because this will keep them on the right road and put them really ahead of everybody else on the road to financial freedom, financial independence. But we need to get away from the excuse that they're not teaching this in schools. They didn't teach me this in schools either. However, I had an appetite for it, so I got out and learned it for myself. So if we're sitting back waiting to be taught in schools, if we're waiting to be taught in churches, even if we're waiting to be taught by our parents or people that we have sitting at home that don't know really finances, we're going to be in for a long wait. We have to have an appetite to go out there and learn about these things for ourselves. So let's not use this as an excuse anymore that they're not teaching finances in schools, because they never have. And like I said, it's creeping in there now, but it's not 100% in there. And it is the system. It has nothing. It's nothing personal, nothing against your child, but they're not teaching it in schools. The second point I want to bring up to you is if we rely on others too heavily, the government, your boss, people like that, if we rely on them too heavily to make us rich or get us wealthy, you're going to be in for a rude awakening there too, because you cannot rely on someone else to do the thing that you're responsible for doing. When it comes to the government, there's Social Security, there are other social things out there to help people along, help them to get on their feet. And then after that, they should be up and running at some point in time. Most of the times the government is not a long-term strategy for finances or building wealth or anything like that. So let's not rely on the government to solve the problems that we need solved when it comes to finances. And when it comes to our boss, a lot of us rely on that increase that we're going to get. And if we don't get the increase that we think we should get, we're going to blame it on our boss. But what are you doing yourself to have the finances come up, have the income in your house monthly increase? There are things that you can do. I would not rely, even when I was working 9 to 5, you all, I always had a side hustle. I was into photography. I was into being a musician at my church. I was into other things that I would get weekly, monthly checks in, and then I got into real estate and I was getting monthly checks in. So I was always doing something else other than just working at the job. The job is, that business is going to take care of itself. The bottom line is the profit for the business. They will work you as hard as they possibly can. And this is nothing against any business. You want to get the most out of your employees. But if you're relying on that job to do something for you as far as finances, it's not going to do it without you taking some type of initiative. Now, you can use that paycheck as a springboard to do other things, such as when I use my paycheck as a springboard to buy rental property. And so once I got enough saved up for a down payment for rental property, I started doing that. But I used my paycheck for that. I wasn't spending my paycheck 100% on just living. I didn't want to do that. As I got increases, I increased the amount that I was saving for other things. I invested when there were opportunities to get into 401k and stuff like that. I did that. The Roth 401k, I did that. So there are opportunities out there, but you cannot rely, because your boss will not tell you this. Sometimes HR will not tell you. They will explain the program to you and then just leave it up to you to make a decision. But you need to take it upon yourself. It is your responsibility to do this for yourself, for your children, for your family, for the next generation. If you can learn, and then you can teach after you learn. But relying on other folks that either has never done this stuff before or you're not in their best interest is a little too much. Your boss was never hired to make you rich or to help you with your finances. Okay, so let's get that out of our minds. The government is not there, as we know, to help us long term with any type of finances or even sustaining your living for any long term period of time. So it is incumbent upon us to do the thing that we need to do if we want to walk this journey to financial freedom, financial independence, whatever it is we desire. Now, before I go any step further, what it is your responsibility to do also is to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as I'm bringing it to you. And hopefully this is helpful to you, because I want you to truly realize, recognize, and take the responsibility on of your financial future being totally in your hands. You can move it the way you want to move it. You can, go out there and buy stock. You can buy rental properties. You can buy bonds. You can invest in certain things. You can start your own business, but it is totally up to you. And if you don't make that move, if you don't make that next step, it won't be taken for you. It is your responsibility. So you may ask, Adrienne, how do I get started? How do I take this on as my responsibility? I am so happy and glad that you're asked. So the thing that you want to do is start your financial journey by reading books. There are books out there that you can read. You can listen to, of course, this show on a weekly basis or different podcasts on finances. What I did is I read books. I read different books about finances. I went on Google at the time and researched about finances. I listened to YouTube videos about finances. If there was some type of presentation that I knew that I could trust the person with finances, I would go and listen to them. But I educated myself. I went after the thing that I wanted myself. We spend so much time looking at TV shows that have nothing to do with finances, but we will spend a lot of time during the week looking at shows that's not going to make us any better off financially. Now, I'm not saying Every show you have to look at it has to be a financial show. That's not, I don't do that myself. I look at TV for entertainment. Sometimes I limit myself, but you have to go after the thing that's important to you. So it is worth spending some time at the local library. They have financial books there. They may have financial seminars there. You don't have to go. You can leave your checkbook at home, leave your credit card at home, go and listen to see what people are saying. Listen to see what people are talking about. Look at some of the people that are talking about the stock market that's on TV, just to learn the stock terms. What are they talking about? Do things like that to help yourself. And then when it's time to make a decision to invest or make a decision, what I did as far as real estate was going, there was a real estate agent. She was a broker, and she was having a seminar on building wealth through real estate. I thought it was interesting, so I signed up for it. I went, and she presented what she needed to present, and I was one of probably about 50 or so people in the room. I made an appointment with her after that. We sat down, and she asked me, okay, what do you see yourself in the future? How many houses do you want to own? What is your entrance status, and where do you want to exit? So we sat down and put out a plan. She wrote out a plan for me, you all. It wasn't just meeting with a realtor saying, this is before I was a realtor. It wasn't meeting with a realtor and saying, hey, let me go show you some houses. But she wanted a plan, wanted me to think through what did I want out of these rental properties? What bottom line, when did I want to buy them? When did I want to sell them? Did I want to trade them off for maybe a duplex or fourplex? That I want to get into any type of commercial properties? We sat down and we talked about all of this. And even in sitting down talking with her, I was being educated on some things that I could do differently, So there's a book that I'm reading right now called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins that I was told to read a couple of years ago. And the book was so thick. I started reading it and it got a little... I just wasn't as interested in it as I should have been, so I did not finish it. So what I did is I went on Audible and actually bought it on Audible. And so when I'm in my vehicle driving, I'm listening to A Money Master the Game. And it is going to be a game changer for me because there's a lot of information in there that I did not know about. And I'm kicking myself for not having read it many years ago when I was asked. I was asked to read this book about 5 or 6 years ago, and I didn't do it because I bought it, had all good intentions of doing it, but did not do it. But it's books like this that could be helpful to you to find out things that other people know that you don't know. And when a topic comes up, you can always check further into it to see, is it something that I'm interested in getting into? Let me check to see what it's doing today. What's the updates on this? And so that's what I'm doing, and that's what I've always done. Go after the things you want because no one is going to teach you these things. So you have to go after them. And when you find something that's interesting to you, do your research, and then make a decision on, is this something that I want to do or is this something that I don't want to do? But we have to learn to educate ourselves because no one else is going to do that for us. No one is going to be as concerned about your money and your finances, your future, as you should be. And I can guarantee you that. So it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to all of us to make sure we go after the things that we want. Just like we plan a trip out, we will go and we make plans. And we will, do the research, call around, do everything. And then when it comes time to do it, we'll execute and do it. But when it comes to our money and our finances, we think things are automatic, and things are not automatic, you guys. If you don't plan, you will end up broke in the future. So we have to plan these things out. If you plan correctly, we can all do this. We can have a great retirement. We can have, if we want to retire and do something else, if we want to retire and start traveling, we can do that. But it's going to take planning to get there. It's not just going to fall in your lap. So it is our responsibility to handle our finances for now and for the future. This is what happens when you take responsibility. You stop blaming others. There are some people that want to blame, oh, my parents were bad with money. Oh, they didn't teach it to me in school. oh this, oh that, I don't have the time. When you stop blaming and start taking responsibility for the things that you need to be responsible for, is when things will start changing for you. When I started taking responsibility for my finances, people just started showing up in my life that I needed at that point in time. Because the lady who was the broker that I bought a couple of rental properties from, she showed up. Before then, because I wasn't interested in it, I didn't know this woman from Adam, but she showed up at the right time, and I started buying rental properties. She started educating me. As a matter of fact, she's the reason why I'm in real estate now, because I got so interested in it until I would do all the research myself, and I would just call her and say, look, get me in this house because I think I want to buy this one. And she would let me in, and I would make a decision, write up a contract or not. But I would do the research. I would go around, look at these houses. If it was the area that I wanted to be in, I would talk to her a little bit more, get the inspection done, all of that. I was her easiest client. And so she said, Adrienne, you may want to consider real estate at some point in time in your career because you're really good at it, and you can actually come work for my firm. And I didn't go work for her firm, but I did go into real estate because that was just something I was super, super interested in. So, but yeah, when you start taking responsibility for yourself, things start showing up in your pathway. You start moving in the right direction. When you start moving in the right direction, you'll see progress, progress, progress. It's not about perfection. It's about progressing in the right direction. And once you start going in the right direction, you put a timeline on it, you will hit those goals that you're looking forward to hitting. So take the responsibility, stop blaming, get moving on this journey to more wealth, more finances, into a brighter financial future. I am going to challenge you to become the CEO of your financial future. This is your company to do with it as you will. And people are going to be watching you all. Don't think that your children are not watching. Don't think that your nieces and nephews, people have an eye on you. Do the right thing with your money, and people will be interested to come and talk to you. How did you do this? How did you get that? How did you pay this off? How's that going for you? You can be a pillar in the community if you do the right thing with your finances. And we can come up out of this poverty mindset and get into a abundance mindset, because that's where we're supposed to be anyway. Congratulations, take up the challenge and become your CEO of your financial future. And with that, I will see you in the next video.